What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. My name's Kyle. Tonight, Thursday Night Football, we're going to hang out for the next half an hour or so. Whatever questions you guys need, please fire them up in the chat room. I'll get to them as they come through. But otherwise, we're going to, look at some of the practice reports today. We'll look at some other news and notes and things along the way. But whatever questions you guys have, please fire them away in the chat room. And I'm going to hop right into a screen share here, and we'll see what we're looking at for the latest and greatest injury practice news and updates for today. The first one here being Amari Cooper saying he's going to play. I had him listed as questionable all week, but it's good to see that he's going to play. I don't know who the quarterback is going to be. I know Dorian Thompson-Robinson did not practice today, so it's looking like it might be Joe Flacco. If you guys play in Superflex leagues, it might be time to add Joe Flacco if you need QB2 help. So Amari Cooper saying he's going to play through the rib injury. That's good to know. Trey McBride officially limited today at Cardinals practice. He was initially labeled as a DNP, which I saw earlier today, but limited. We'll take it. I think he's on track to play. We'll watch for his reports tomorrow. Kenneth Walker, of course, inactive for this evening's game. We're going to see Zach Charbonnet do what he can do. And then you got Rico Dowdle here active tonight for the Seahawks or against the Seahawks. Jake Browning on the injury report with a right wrist injury, but he's practicing in full. So we'll want to monitor that tomorrow. Good news for Noah Brown. He's got back-to-back limited practices in. He's on track to play this Sunday against the Denver Broncos. Jerick McKinnon returning to practice today. I don't think he practiced yesterday, so this is a positive development in his direction. He's probably going to be able to play Week 13 in Green Bay. Ezekiel Elliott limited with a thigh injury today. I'm not really quite sure where that popped up, but we'll monitor that. Demario Douglas, unlikely to play is the word right now. Back-to-back DNPs on Wednesday and Thursday. I'm going to expect no Demario Douglas for Sunday here. So if you're holding out hope for Demario Douglas, probably need to find another alternative here at the wide receiver position. Marvin Mims limited with a hamstring injury. We're not using him for fantasy, but I do want to see him kind of get unleashed at some point this season so we can get excited for our dynasty leagues. Jerry Jeudy returning to practice with a groin injury. Here's the Dorian Thompson-Robinson update. He officially did not practice today. So again, it's looking like Joe Flacco season for the Cleveland Browns, which actually it could lift the offense. Like we could be looking at Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, maybe even Cedric Tillman, David Njoku in a different light than we had been with PJ Walker and Dorian Thompson-Robinson. So I'm okay with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco provided some decent fantasy games last year for the Jets while he played for a little bit here. So I don't hate Joe Flacco for fantasy. Not a great quarterback to win games, but it's a good team. He could potentially help them make it to the playoffs. Breece Hall limited. That's back-to-back limiteds with the hamstring. Maybe they're just being cautious with him here. I think if I have Breece, I'm still going to play him, even though it's a tough matchup against the Falcons. You have Treylon Burks upgraded to full participant. We haven't seen him for a long time since I think it was Week 9 Thursday Night Football against the Steelers. It's been a while since we've seen Treylon Burks. He's a guy that could be stashed in deeper leagues, but we're probably not going to be interested in starting another Titans wide receiver in our fantasy lineups. Chase Claypool limited today. You have Devon Achane limited today. That's back-to-back limiteds. So he's on track to play this weekend. I think if he gets a full one tomorrow, I'll feel really good about it. I still don't think he's going to get a full workload. I mean, he was on IR. He came back and got re-injured right away. I don't think he's a full-time player in this week where if he comes back again, I think he's going to be kind of a second back in the offense here. They do have Jeff Wilson playing well. They have Raheem Mostert playing well too. So we might see a little bit of a decreased role for Achane in this first game back. Good news for T. Higgins. He hopes to play in Week 13. It's been a while since we've seen him. He hasn't played since Week 9. So if you're holding out for T. Higgins, it's nice. He's on Monday Night Football, so it's nice to see these positive reports. It looks like you can hold out and hope for T. Higgins on Monday Night Football. Chris Godwin added to the injury report on Thursday and listed as limited today. So neck, we'll see about that. This was an injury that he had earlier in the year. We'll keep an eye on this. It might not be a serious thing, but I'm expecting him to play. I haven't heard otherwise here. It looks like Rashid Shaheed's probably going to be considered doubtful for this weekend. I wouldn't plan on him being available. Chris Olave, though, practice back-to-back days, limited on Wednesday, limited on Thursday. So it's looking pretty good here for Olave to be in your lineups this weekend. If you're holding out hope for him, hopefully we get some more news tomorrow if he's clearing concussion protocol. But I would say right now, it does look like it does look like Olave's on track to play. Good news for the Seahawks are getting one of their left tackles back tonight. Keenan Allen didn't practice today. I thought that was a little bit of an eyebrow raise here. He was working off to the side, so maybe it was just kind of like a Veterans Day off. We'll continue to monitor that tomorrow. Deontay Johnson, illness, didn't practice today. And hey, good evening to Charlene. Hope you're doing well. And no worries, no worries. We did not freak out yesterday. It's all good. More practice news for you guys. The Packers are dinged up right now after that big, impressive game on Thursday last week. Jayden Reed not practicing, back-to-back DNPs Wednesday and Thursday. This probably puts him on the path of being doubtful for Week 13 here. So we'll see. I think the Packers are getting back Dontavian Wicks, so it's going to look like a trio. If Reed can't go, it's going to be Watson, Dobbs, and Wicks. And honestly, they have another receiver named Malik Heath that looks pretty good too. But if no Jayden Reed and you need a little wide receiver help, maybe Dontavian Wicks. If you're in deeper leagues and you can make a move, I don't mind Dontavian Wicks. And he should be picked up in all. He should be picked up all in all dynasty leagues. Aaron Jones not practicing. Again, I'm assuming he's not playing this weekend. AJ Dillon did return to practice today, so he's on track to play. Otherwise, yeah, the Packers got a big win last weekend, but they're kind of limping into this one with some of their skill players. Jonathan Mingo limited today. We're not using Mingo, but he did have a nice game last weekend. He went, I think he had double-digit points last weekend. It's a good matchup against Tampa Bay. We'll see if Mingo can put together another decent game. Limited with an Achilles, not sure what's going on there. Hayden Hurst did not practice. And then there's the T. Higgins practicing on Thursday news. This one's big. We should probably talk about this for a little bit here. Dalton Schultz did not practice on Thursday. He didn't practice yesterday either. I think this puts him squarely on the doubtful side going into this matchup against the team that allows the most tight end fantasy points per game here. So I think if you're in need of tight end help, I would plan for no Dalton Schultz this weekend. I would plan for potentially Brevin Jordan being the starting tight end. And we kind of saw this in the game last weekend where Brevin Jordan was out there in the fourth quarter. Dalton Schultz was not. And Brevin Jordan was getting some targets. So I think, if you're in a desperation tight end mode and, you either had Mark Andrews or you got a tight end on bye like Dalton Kincaid, you can maybe whip out Brevin Jordan. So definitely take a look at him. He's an interesting pass catcher for sure. This one, keep an eye on this one, Charlene. Travis Etienne not spotted at practice today. That's going to mean if he can't go, Dearness Johnson is the backup running back. I'm not buying the Tank Bigsby stuff. Sure, Bigsby might be more involved, but I think over the last 3 games, we've seen Dearness Johnson take the clear lead as the running back 2 in this offense. So we'll monitor this. Doug Peterson saying he's day-to-day with the chest injury. And again, this was the chest injury that he hurt himself in week 12. He went to the locker room. He was able to come back and finish the game, but maybe they're just being cautious with him at practice. But big practice day tomorrow for Travis Etienne. And yeah, he's a true questionable tag here. Drew, what it do? Do you prefer Lockett, London, or C. Watson in flex, full PPR? Also have Olave and leaning towards sitting Lockett just in case he clears protocol. Thanks. I think it sounds like Olave is going to play. He's practiced yesterday and today in a limited capacity. Tomorrow, obviously, is a huge day. If he can clear concussion protocol, I would like to get if there was no issues with the concussion, I think I'm playing Olave easily over Tyler Lockett. The matchup is not great. Geno Smith in the offense has been struggling, so I think I'm fine with holding out hope here. Drew, I don't mind Tyler Lockett tonight, but I'm going to hold out for Olave. If I can't play Olave, I'm going to play Christian Watson. So let's hold out for Olave. And hey, Watson in the offense, man, it's coming around. And if you just got to us here, I did cover that Jayden Reed has not practiced Wednesday or Thursday. So he's actually on track towards being doubtful for this weekend. So maybe down another playmaker, maybe Christian Watson's more involved in the game plan this week as one of their healthier skill players. And hey, yeah, Dearness Johnson, let's go. What is the injuries to Keenan and Dell? Keenan, where was that one? It's saying a quad. He was present at practice, but it's working off to the side. So to me, he's kind of been on and off the injury report all year. To me, I kind of view this as just a day off. He's arguably their most important player on offense right now, him and Austin Eckler. So we're this late in the season where I think it makes sense to give players kind of a day off. I think if he wasn't working off to the side here, I'd be a little bit more concerned. I'm glad he was able to do that. Because to me, it lets me know that he's probably fine, and they just kind of gave him a little bit of an easy day. Tank Dell, I believe Tank Dell hurt his calf. We'll see if we get to it in a second here. It should be coming up in a little bit. But I do want to cover real quick. Michael Wilson did not practice. It looks like he's not going to play. And also Marquise Brown did not practice. So if you're, needing a wide receiver, Rondale Moore and Greg Dortch might be the top two receivers for Arizona this weekend. And I did note that Trey McBride was limited today in practice. That could just be giving him a little bit of a break because he might have a heavy workload against the Steelers this Sunday. So Michael Wilson and Marquise Brown, both doubtful heading into Sunday. So again, Rondale Moore and Greg Dortch should be on your radar. And again, we did update that this was wrong. Trey McBride was limited. And here's your Tank Dell update. So there was 2 updates today, Charlene. He was not seen at practice at the beginning of practice, but he was able to return. So he was spotted during the warm-up portion of practice, but later joined the team on the field. He's dealing with a calf injury. I believe he might have had an MRI on the calf earlier in the week. I might be wrong on that, but he does say he expects to play. I also expect Tank Dell to play. I'm going to try and get him in my lineup if I can. Josh Allen's on bye this weekend, but I think Purdy is I could probably only name the quarterbacks I would rather start over Purdy with one hand. And there's not that, it's maybe 3, 4, 5 quarterbacks at best that I'm playing over Brock Purdy this weekend. It's one of the best fantasy matchups for Brock Purdy and that passing game here. The Eagles ranked 31st against opponent quarterbacks. Man, I'll take my 20 points from Brock Purdy here. And they do allow a ton. I think they're the worst team against wide receivers in terms of letting up points. So Brock Purdy, man, top 5 QB week. Let's go. I'm going to see if we can find anything else here. The Dolphins, you got Raheem Mostert coming back to practice. Good news there. Tyreek Hill returning back to practice. This has been a theme for the Dolphins for the last couple months here. They give Raheem and Tyreek kind of the day off on Wednesday, and then they're back on Thursday. It's just a Veterans Day kind of rest on Wednesday here. This one's interesting. Zach Ertz being waived by the Arizona Cardinals. Don't know where he's going to sign. I know the popular call has been, he's going to sign with Philadelphia again. Dallas Goedert's hurt. It makes sense to just get him back in there and get the 2 tight end system back. I can see it. We'll see. Otherwise, I think there's a couple other teams that make sense for him to go to. So I'm kind of excited about Zach Ertz and where he can land. I don't know how much he offers. He's kind of like a Jason Witten type at this point. He's just an old reliable guy that can catch the ball, and you trust him in some clutch situations. He just can't do much after the catch at this point anymore. So Zach Ertz, we'll see where he lands in the coming days. And I think that will be pretty much everything that we need to cover from the practice reports today. Now we're into the Wednesday news. So any other questions for me, you guys can fire them up in the chat room. Otherwise, it's a slow night tonight, so I might get out of here a little bit early. We got Charlene chiming in here. We have a deep bench, and our waiver wire is a ghost town. Yeah, let me so I'm going to pull up my most important league for you. I have a big night tonight, guys. I have in my most important league, I have Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, DK Metcalf, and Jake Ferguson going tonight. So it's I need a good amount of points in tonight's game here. So here's the most these are the players that are available in my most important league. It's a super flex league, and we go pretty deep. Everybody's under 30% rostered. So this is the group of people that I get to pick from. Not super exciting. I do want to just call out a couple players that I think maybe in deeper leagues might be available. A guy like you can stash a Jerick McKinnon, you can stash a Latavius Murray, Justice Hill, Leonard Fournette. I'm open to stashing, a Travion Williams, a Patrick Taylor. Maybe Zamir White, Josh Jacobs is back up. You can maybe stash a guy like Chris Rodriguez. And that's pretty much it. I think a lot of people were on the Dearness Johnson bandwagon today, so probably not out there in your deeper leagues. But otherwise, at receiver, maybe Darnell Mooney. I think Tutu Atwell needs to be picked up, though. He's a big play guy. If Cooper Kupp gets injured again or Puka Nacua misses, I'm open to starting Tutu as a wide receiver 3 flex. And, hey, we got Charbonnet going tonight. I feel good about Charbonnet. I think I pulled it up last night. We'll review it here. You can get running back points against the Cowboys. I know it doesn't look pretty. They don't give up a lot of touchdowns. They do rank as one of the better teams against the position. But let's take a peek here in terms of fantasy PPR points they have allowed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 running backs to go over double digits. 3 of those came in one game here, that 49ers game. 2 of them came in the Rams game here. So it is kind of hit or miss. A touchdown would be nice, but I do think anywhere between, 50 and 75 yards from scrimmage can come from Charbonnet, and hopefully 3 or 4 catches to kind of get you into that 9 to 12 point PPR range here. So again, it's a scary matchup, but hey, there might be some dump offs and some nice easy receptions coming for Charbonnet tonight. More players that I like picking up in deeper leagues, maybe Rashad Bateman, Wan'Dale Robinson, maybe. Again, I still hope for Donovan Peoples-Jones, but I don't think it's going to happen this year. A.T. Perry is another one that I'm open to maybe stashing over the weekend. Here's Greg Dortch. Greg Dortch had himself a good last couple of weeks here. 6 for 76 and 8 targets, 3 for 27 and a touchdown last weekend, 9 targets. Again, no Marquise Brown, no Michael Wilson. This might be your number 1 receiver here, and I might actually have to add Greg Dortch in my league in this one, because I could maybe whip him out there and see what happens. Other players that are worth keeping an eye on this deep, there's probably not a lot of guys. That might be the last one that I like. And then tight ends real quick here. You could maybe add Greg Dulcich and see what happens when he comes back from IR. I think Tanner Hudson's a low play here. He does get 3, 4, 5 targets per game. Otherwise, yeah, it's pretty beat the hell up down here. Did Zach Ertz get added in this league? No, Zach Ertz is available. This might be interesting, man. If Zach Ertz goes somewhere and we can find someone that'll take advantage of his skill set. I don't know where he could go. Like Miami maybe might make sense. They don't really throw to the tight end, but Miami would be nice. I think maybe Baltimore with the Mark Andrews injury. I think Baltimore is a good fit. I think probably not going to go to Indianapolis. Probably not going to go to Jacksonville, not Tennessee, not Denver, not Kansas City. These teams aren't making the playoffs. Seattle, maybe, but they're not really looking too good right now. The Packers, maybe with the Luke Musgrave injury, that one could be of use here. Otherwise, maybe the Eagles, maybe the Cowboys. But the Ravens sound pretty good. I think that one makes sense. And yeah, let's go David Montgomery this weekend. I need a big David Montgomery week for my lineups and my best ball lineups. Yeah, it's probably time to pour one out for DPJ. Good evening, Harris. I am not concerned on Keenan Allen yet. I think again, they had their bye, I think, in week 5. At this point of the season, it's Eckler and Keenan Allen that is the Chargers offense. I think they're just being cautious with him. The fact that he was able to work off the side and continue to practice in a limited capacity, I think is fine. Not concerned about Keenan Allen. I am concerned about Marquise Brown. If you just missed it, we were just talking about Michael Wilson and Marquise Brown not practicing this week for 2 straight days. I think if you need someone in a deeper league, Greg Dortch might be someone in PPR formats that I think could be a nice pickup and play. He's been over double digits the last 2 games. It's going to be a lot of targets for Dortch and a lot of targets for Trey McBride and maybe Rondale Moore this weekend. And your thoughts on Pittman? I like Michael Pittman quite a bit this week. I think we pulled it up earlier. Maybe last night we pulled it up. These 2 teams, the Titans and the Colts, played each other earlier in the year. I think Pittman had a floor game of like 10 or 11 points. It's a good matchup. Tennessee allows a lot of points to the wide receiver position here. So I want to get Pittman in my lineup. I think he's a rock solid wide receiver too. And honestly, man, like Pittman's been one of the most reliable players week to week at the receiver position all season. Like, let's look at these numbers real quick. Currently wide receiver 13. He's in the top 10 in targets. You can see he's actually ranking. He's tied for 8th with Puka. The yards are a little bit lower, but that's okay. 14th in yards, 3 touchdowns, a little bit of a letdown, but he's a target hog. Pretty much every game, double-digit targets. And again, there's the 5 for 52 against Tennessee earlier in the year. I like Pittman quite a bit. Use Miami defense and Matt Gay. I did pick up Matt Gay in one of my leagues that uses kicker, so I'm on the board with the Colts kicker here. And then Miami defense, I like it. Howell can do some turnovers. Would you lock in Tyler Lockett tonight or wait to see if M. Brown plays and have to play Perry or Judy? No, I'm going to play Tyler Lockett there, man. I know Lockett, it doesn't feel great, but the Seahawks have their back against the walls. They have the 49ers coming up next week. They have the the Eagles the following week, which got flexed to Monday Night Football. We need to see the best effort from the Seahawks tonight. Otherwise, they're looking to be on a 3-game losing streak. And again, they're going to play San Francisco and the Eagles coming up here. So they're staring down a gauntlet of a schedule right now. I know the floor is about 6-7 points with Tyler Lockett. I'm going to roll the dice because he's also got this nice ceiling of about 22 to 25 fantasy points. I'm going to roll the dice with Tyler Lockett here, Harris. Christian, good evening. Brevin, if Schultz doesn't play, or Taysom. If Schultz doesn't play, man, I think I'm going to go with Brevin Jordan. I know last night we talked a lot about Chris Olave and what that would mean to the offense if he can't go. But if Olave plays, that takes a little bit of the steam off of Taysom Hill. It's also not an amazing matchup. The Lions did just allow the Packers rookie tight end to score a touchdown last weekend. But I think for me, I'm going to trust the points here, man. And the Broncos, they're giving up 16.75 points. Even if Brevin Jordan gets half of that, that's, 8.5 points, which feels pretty good. So I'm going to take this and hope for a range of 8 to 12 points as a floor. And hey, if he catches a touchdown, Broncos have allowed the most tight end touchdowns on the season and the most yards to tight ends. I think there's a good opportunity here for Brevin Jordan. The reports on Tank Dell sound pretty promising. Let me pull this up here for you. I'm looking for the quote, but he basically said that he is going to play. Upgraded to limited. I expect Tank Dell to play. He came back to practice today. It sounds like he's going to be just fine, and they're just being cautious with him. So let's go Tank Dell. Not concerned with A.J. Dillon. Again, the Packers had their bye week very early in the season. I think you're probably looking at just a Veterans Day off for A.J. Dillon, who's going to get the ball a ton on Sunday here. Dillon's going to play. It's a tough matchup, of course, on paper, but I do feel good about Dillon playing on Sunday and probably playing pretty well, actually. I think he could be an interesting, RB2 flex type play. Christian, I traded for Chase the day before Burrow got injured. Man, this is tough. That does suck, but we lose our top 5 receiver. And I think he was like top 3, being honest with you. But the projections and the rankings that I'm seeing, and this is FF Today. I do like FF Today for some of their stuff here. They do have decent projections, but they're still ranking Jamar Chase down here next to Garrett Wilson. So he's like a steady wide receiver 2-3. If I change this to full PPR, that actually might move Chase up a little bit. Yeah, again, he's probably about wide receiver 20. So he's losing some of his upside, but I still think he's a useful player to start in fantasy football. He's still a really good receiver, and hey, he should be able to get 4 or 5 catches in this one. Good evening, Chase. Man, we got the CeeDee Lamb jersey on today. We're hoping for a slob game from CeeDee Lamb. He's been kind of quiet the last couple games. Luckily, he's caught touchdowns, but he has been relatively quiet. Go Dak Prescott and the Cowboys tonight. Pick 2, PPR, Gibson, Gainwell, Spears, Conklin, Perry, or Dortch. Right now, I think you got to go with Greg Dortch. And then my number 2 option here, it's between Gibson and Conklin. I'm gonna go with Gibson just because I think the game script in that one, we expect the Dolphins to score points, put up points with Tyreek and Jalen Waddle in the deep ball, which would probably lead to the Commanders playing from behind. You're going to see a lot of Antonio Gibson in those situations. I'm going to go Dortch and Gibson in full PPR. The rest of my RBs are Walker, Algier, Gibson, and Roschon. It's kind of bad. Roschon might be coming around here. I'm actually excited about Roschon Johnson after the bye. He basically was the starting running back over Khalil Herbert last week on Monday Night Football. Maybe you'll get Kenneth Walker back next weekend. I kind of like Gibson this weekend. I think he's actually a sneaky PPR play. If I look at these projections real quick, they're giving him 4 for 33 as a receiver, about 10 PPR points. That's not bad. I like Gibby this week. Who do I think has a great chance for a game tonight? I think it's the CeeDee Lamb game. I also think it's Tony Pollard. Those 2 guys are the cogs of the offense. Actually, if I pull this up real quick, I think it's Tony Pollard night, guys. He's a player that has disappointed us all year long. But hey, the last 2 games, it's been pretty good for Tony Pollard. He's carrying the ball at a nice clip. He's getting touchdowns. If I filter here by PPR, you can see, I mean, Christian McCaffrey, 114 yards last Thursday. Royce Freeman, 73 yards on the ground here. The Baltimore or the Washington backs kind of got, not that great of offensive output, but I do think they caught the ball well. Otherwise, Keaton Mitchell, $138, Gus Edwards, 52-40. You can run the ball on Seattle. So I'm thinking it's a Pollard CeeDee Lamb game. I think we're going to see CeeDee Lamb probably go over 100 yards tonight. I would bet Tony Pollard has 100 yards from scrimmage as well. And then I think this is going to force the Seahawks, and especially with no Kenneth Walker, I think it's going to force the Seahawks to throw the ball a lot. I think you're going to probably see DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett have good games. I think you're going to see JSN make a couple plays tonight. So I think this game could be, a little bit higher scoring than we're accustomed to on a Thursday night football game. So I'm pretty excited about tonight. Yeah, CeeDee Lamb, it is, baby. Is Dallas Goedert going to play? I'm going to say no. I think if there was optimism that he was going to play, we would feel better about it. Again, DNP yesterday, DNP today. I'm going to say no Goddard in this one. Probably back week 14. Yeah, man, we were asking these questions last night. Trey McBride has finally been unlocked. I love to see it. And I'm proud because this was, unfortunately, all summer long, I was telling people to draft Trey McBride at your last pick in the draft and just hold on to him as your potential tight end. And it took a while, but hey, we got there. And Trey McBride looking like Trey McBride might be a top 5 tight end the rest of the season here. Drop Jerry Jeudy, Osborne, and Khalil Herbert. You can drop KJ Osborne. Pretty easy there. Harris. Dearness Johnson's the man. Thank you for asking. The lovely weather this weekend. We got a couple minutes left in the chat, guys. So if you guys want to answer any questions, please get them in. We're going to go over the weather for this weekend's games. It's calling for a slight chance of rain in the Tennessee game. I'm seeing about 10-mile-per-hour winds in that one, and it looks like likely rain for the Patriots. So we got some sloppy games in Tennessee, New England. The Saints are in a dome. Chance of showers in the New York Jets Atlanta Falcons game. That game's take the under on that game, by the way. Likely rain in Pittsburgh. East Coast has got some rain. It looks okay for Washington, though. 59 degrees and a chance of rain. It's actually pretty warm weather for a late November, early December game. Texans are in dome. Tampa Bay's got a slight chance of thunderstorms. Partly cloudy. Rams are in a covered arena. And the Eagles, chance of rain. It's been raining in Philly for a month, it feels like. And then a slight chance of rain for Green Bay. Sunday Night Football. Slight chance of rain for Jacksonville. So, hey, it's going to be wet. I mean, if you have room and you can get the insurance, we're not going to trust Dowdle in our lineups unless Tony Pollard were to get hurt. So he's purely a handcuff. I like Dowdle a lot, though, because, hey, we like the Cowboys offense a lot for fantasy football, and we've seen Dowdle play well in spurts. And he's been picking it up the last couple of weeks. I do like Rico Dowdle quite a bit. If you can stash him, I think he's well worth a stash. Let me see what we got here. Any update on the Saints wide receiver tight end? Thinking about starting Taysom Hill if the others are out. Olave was able to practice limited again today. I think tomorrow, if he's able to clear concussion protocol, they're going to tell us right away and get him off of that. So huge day tomorrow for Chris Olave. I don't think Rashid Shaheed missed practice again today, so I'm going to basically call him doubtful to out. And then Juwan Johnson, I think, is on track to play. So it looks like Olave, good chance of playing. No for Rashid Shaheed. I'm okay with Taysom. He's still a good player. 8-point floor. You can roll out Taysom Hill. Man. This is a true coin flip here. The Bucs do allow a lot of wide receiver points and quarterback points. I don't trust them as much as I do the Jets. So personally, I would go with the Jets just because I trust them more. They have better players on defense, and it's Desmond Ridder. I know Bijan Robinson can do some things, but I'm gonna go with the Jets. It's the lowest scoring game that I've seen in a long time. There's 33.5 points projected in that game. I think you take advantage of that one and you roll out the Jets. But anyways, guys, we got football in a little bit here, so I'm gonna get to it. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm gonna upload a video tomorrow, maybe a 20-25 minute video tomorrow afternoon, covering all of the week 13 games on Sunday. So take it easy. Enjoy the game tonight. Charlene says she dropped DPJ and picked up Jameson Williams. And yeah, Lions offense is another one of those teams that you want down the stretch here. So start stacking your bench with good players, rookie receivers, backup running backs, backup defenses, that kind of stuff. But anyways, guys, enjoy the rest of your evening. Let's have some fantasy points tonight. And again, I'll see you guys on Sunday morning live. If you guys want to hang out hour and a half before the game start on Sunday, we'll see you guys there. So, hey, enjoy the night. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.